Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the AlexAndMo I Am a PT podcast. Tonight, Alex and I are thrilled to have on set with us tonight Dr. Jason Henderson, PT, DPT, and MBA. Welcome, Jason, to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Yes, pleasure to have you on. Thank you for taking the time out to be with us. What seems to be should be a very fun and exciting episode. You, as I tweeted out today, you're a true Renaissance man. Um, I'm very excited and eager to hear more about your story.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I believe we're gonna have fun tonight.
Good deal.
I definitely think we will be because a lot of people will be seeing a different side to you besides just being a physical therapist. So I'm sure it would probably open up avenues for other people as well.
Yeah.
So you were born and raised in Philly, right? But
Well,
I've known you for quite a while, and you are the most diehard Green Bay Packer fan that I know. How does somebody who grew up in inner city Philly
ooh,
become a Green Bay Packer fan? A cheesehead.
yeah. It was not easy. You know, I grew up in a house where I had three brothers and a sister, and I just remember waking up and there were four helmets underneath the tree. I just so happened to be the last one to get up, so that helmet was waiting on me. So I didn't choose the Packers. The Packers actually chose me.
So what were the other three helmets?
Oh, good question. My oldest brother had a Dallas Cowboy helmet.
Mm.
Then my other brothers, I could have been a Browns fan.
That's
You know?
horrible.
And then my younger brother was a Jets. He was a Jets fan. But all three of them, they changed their teams. I'm the only one who stayed committed to their team all the way.
Well, I guess
Funny.
that says a lot about you, though.
Yes, it does.
Have you ever had the chance to go to Lambeau?
I go just about every year. I'm at a Green Bay game at least 3 times a season, and I just love it. I follow them. I'm an NFL fan, and I just enjoy. I enjoy being a fan.
Absolutely. What's that experience like? I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. Obviously, it seems like we play the Packers every year. We definitely see them in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is just an amazing talent that we can't get over. But
Yeah,
what is Lambeau like? Because I've always heard that it's a very unique experience. From the 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 residents of Green Bay being, part owners of the team belonging to them, and people willing their season tickets to keep them in the family, waiting lists miles long, all of that. If you could describe what that is like watching a game at Lambeau.
Uh-oh.
We lose Jason.
I
I
guess
think
so.
is he muted?
hello. Can you
Hello,
guys hear
you
me?
there?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Yeah. It's amazing to go to Lambeau, to go to Wisconsin, to travel to the Midwest. The people are more friendly than the East Coast. I've been to Redskin games, Philly, New York, and the crowds is a little different in the Midwest. But to watch the game, it was a thrill and a joy to be able to watch Aaron Rodgers play. I never seen Brett Favre play live, so all of my experiences were with Aaron Rodgers. And there are many times we have many wins. I suffered many losses. But it's an amazing place. It's magical. I hope everybody can go.
Now, do you go before like November?
Yeah, I've been there in December and January. I've been there in the cold, and I'm a true blue fan. I'm a true blue fan.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Are they like playing in sub-zero-degree weather with snow on the field and everything like that?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
frozen. It's a frozen tundra.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been out there. I've been out there in the frozen tundra when it was below zero. It's an experience that you have to try if you're a fan, And because I'm a true blue fan, I got a chance to see when we played the Cowboys and they thought that he caught the ball. And
that was a catch. That was a catch. That was a catch.
I was in the stadium for that.
Dez caught it.
Yeah, and the guy behind me said, he said, Dez, they're gonna call it their rule. He said Dez didn't catch it. I thought he caught it, and he was.
Yeah, it's cutting in and out, Jason. I don't know if it's on our end or what, but and there you're muted again because I can see the little mic. All right. Having some technical difficulties here. That's all right. While Jason gets back up, obviously, Mo, everybody here knows that we're big sports fan, and that's kind of what draws us. And it's funny because today I went to go see a patient. Guess what? One of the rooms was
Cowboys.
Yes, ma'am. I walk into the house. I'm there to see the gentleman's. You're muted. There you go. Good.
It seems like there's probably internet connection issues.
Yeah, it seems like. But anyways, I walk in, see the patient. I'm walking out. You're still muted, Jason. You're muted. Nah.
No.
So anyways, I walk in while we try to get Jason to get unmuted. Walk in, see the patient. I'm walking out, leave the house. And I look out to the side. There we go, Jason.
You're good now. Jason?
Nah, he fell off completely. Hopefully we'll get him back here.
Back. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm leaving the house. I look over to the side and I see a Cowboys little sign on the door. So the patient's daughter is the one walking me out. And I'm like, whoever that is, that's an intelligent individual. So she's like, hold on. So she calls her husband, who was in the kitchen. He's like, hey, he said, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're an intelligent individual. So he showed me the room. I mean, this guy had it decked out. Like, I don't think I could ever fly any of that with Lauren because Lauren is the master designer of our house. Like, I just get to live
it's
here.
Not worth it. It's not worth it.
But I mean, he had a background of the stadium, like the new AT&T stadium. It was crazy.
Wow.
All right, welcome back. Are you good now? Still.
It's like in and out. You're not muted, but we can't really hear you. Now you're muted. Because I can see the little mic's muted. You know, it would be Jason, the filmmaker, to give us the most.
Issues with.
It's a bad connection, bud.
Let me see if we can get him to.
See if you can email him, Mo.
Yeah, I will.
So he can get on his laptop. See if that works out better for him. Anyways, apologize to everybody on the technical difficulties here while we get this situated. But yeah.
So you get a compliment that he was intelligent.
I mean, the man's intelligent.
Inflated egos, man.
Brilliant mind.
Egos.
Brilliant mind.
Well, I'm glad Lauren has the capability
Oh,
to choose
she's got
correctly.
ultimate veto power on any
Yeah.
decorating, and to her credit, she's amazing at it. I
Mhm.
don't know if you saw a couple weeks back when I posted the video of our bathroom.
Yes,
Um,
I love it. I love the
that
reflex.
was all her. I mean that's her vision. So yeah, she's very talented in decorating, and she loves doing it. So who knows? Maybe it'll
Yeah.
be something that develops down the road.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
I think seems like we have a better connection. Jason? Uh-oh. Hello?
Nah, we still. So while we try to get this situated again, I mean, we can talk a little bit about what both you and I know about Jason.
Yeah.
We were talking about, aside from being a PT, he's a filmmaker, and he's actually had a couple films, some short films made. Let's see, he's trying to communicate with us, but
Yes, so
can't hear you, bud. And you're frozen, like Elsa. Oh man.
how much you want to bet he's using an Android? I'm sure it's not an Apple.
Of course it is. Of course it is. You know, these filmmakers, they're anti-Apple.
So
But
yes, so Jason is a filmmaker. He put out two documentaries recently, the Home Health Chronicles and the Marshall Ortiz. They've had global acclaim, and the Marshall Ortiz is based on a therapeutic program that he designed for kids with autism in underserved communities. So primarily, I know his company works with geriatric patients. So when he comes back on, we can ask him about making that shift from geriatric to pediatric, because it's not quite often you go from geriatric population to the pediatric population. I know
yeah, and
it's tough for me. Tough for me.
it's not an easy one. I still remember my first pediatric rotation when I was in PT school, and it was fun playing with the kids, but it was mentally exhausting because you can't just tell them what to do. I mean, obviously, I know that now. I've got two young boys. I feel like I'm talking to the wall all the time. But so it requires a lot of thinking, a lot of creativity, and what he has been able to accomplish with that population has been pretty cool. And then the other movie was the Home Health Chronicles, which for us as home health physical therapists, I thought it was kind of cool to watch that one. It's kind of like a pretty cool storyline, little plot to it, but still kind of giving you those good tidbits of what it's like to be a home health clinician. Obviously, different cities are going to present different obstacles, as we were discussing before we came on. Uh, the movie was set in DC area, which was just kind of crazy to see just the different ways, and the challenges like parking. So you end up taking scooters, which have become more kind of not worldwide, I'm sorry, more nationwide, across major cities to help with. I know we have them here in Tampa, so people can just kind of rent little scooters in downtown and stroll around. So I think it'd be cool to be a home health therapist and just scooting around town in a little scooter, carrying your bag with all your tools and laptop and all that stuff might get a little bit challenging, but
Or using a Vespa.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think.
So
Let's see, he's gonna try to make another comeback here.
Let's see. Is it working?
Yes, we're good now.
yes, finally.
All right.
We were trying to stall as best we could, so hopefully with no further technical difficulties, the man himself now.
I know.
All right.
Sorry about that, everybody.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
All right. So we were mentioning about your films, the Marshall Ortiz and the Home Health Chronicles. Can you go a little bit more into that?
Yeah, yeah. Being a physical therapist, I got into multimedia work after practicing therapy for almost 15 plus years. And so I got into writing. I've been a writer for a long time. I did.
Okay, wait.
We can't hear you. And we lost him again. No worries, no worries. We're gonna get through this, people. We're gonna get through this. Hey, this is real life. It ain't always
Yep,
pretty.
this is the first. Sometimes when you're doing home health too, you could drop certain areas that you're in your dropping coverage. You can't finish your note.
Hey, you just gotta roll with it. You gotta roll with it.
Yep.
So anyways, he has a couple films. He owns his own home health. Is it home health that he does?
Home health company, Ogo Home Health.
He's trying to make another comeback. Sooner or later, we're gonna get him to stick around. He's not.
I think StreamYard is sort of difficult to do on a mobile phone too. You good now, Jason?
I'm here. I've been working it. And
okay.
Yeah, so I apologize to the listeners and the viewers. This is part of it in multimedia. You get things like this happen, you just keep rolling. So you guys are doing well with your show. Things will come up. Things will come up, and you have to overcome. As a PT, I learned how to just keep rolling with the punches. 27 years of doing physical therapy it's been a challenge, but you keep going, right? So you guys are doing the same. Keep your show going.
Absolutely.
Tonight, just I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on. I tell you, this what's happening to us right now. None of it's surprising, right? When you shoot a film, I shot a film that just went live this year, the Home Health Chronicles, and every challenge you have to learn to overcome those obstacles. And so I'm always game for it. So I'm not going to give up on the show.
No, we're not giving up, man. We're not.
No.
We got plenty
we're
of
not
stuff.
going to let you off that easy.
We keep it rolling.
I learned the power of editing. So when you get a chance to make mistakes, I go back to edit. And that's how I've been in my PT career. Just to give you guys highlight, many people may say that I'm Renaissance. I just think I'm just a person who overcome obstacles. I think that whatever challenge have been in front of me, I just was game for it. And show.
We go again.
We're gonna get our money's worth today.
Yeah.
You there? Can you hear us? We can't hear you right now.
I think he muted.
Now he did.
Yeah.
He looking like, man, what the hell is going on?
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a headphone, Jason? as he gets himself together, as he said, he's been in physical therapy for over 27 years. So definitely getting the perspective of, being a business owner, you have to go on the fly, go with the flow as well to make adjustments. So this is a great example of that.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, being, think about it, 27 years, that's a very long time, and all the different things that have happened, obviously in his life and his profession, things that he's had to overcome as he was describing, but just like in the environment of PT itself, like the profession itself, like so much has had to have changed in 27 years. The different obstacles from pay structures, reimbursement, you know, regulations, CMS, like all the things that you have to constantly be changing. And when we spoke to Cindy a couple episodes back, the changes that are coming down the pipeline, as soon as January. So that's a true testament to him to be able to go, and to have that motivation, because just from the short interaction we've had with him, you can tell that he's a person who's just full of life and full of motivation and wanting to go get it. And after 27 years, I don't know that a lot of people can say that they still have probably that same energy than when they started, or maybe if not even more than when he started.
I mean, people complain about burnout 2, 3 years into physical therapy. So to be in it for over 25 years, I mean, that's admirable. So
Yeah, the other thing too is, like, it's funny, he says 27. I turn around and sit here and do quick math. I mean, I've been in it 14. It does not feel that long. Let's see, we got he trying to make this work.
see you sweating
I salute him for
under
that.
pressure.
He's a happy dad for him too, man, because he trying. He ain't giving up on us. You take a screenshot of that, Mo. His hand on forehead, like, what is going on right now? What is the technology figure telling me that I can't get this done? But so yeah, I mean, like, I've been doing it for 14 years. I honestly
14.
does not feel that long. I graduated in 2008. I had a
That's
patient.
how long I've been practicing too. So we're in the same category.
It's
2008.
just,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me that it's been, like 14 years. That's a lot. Like like but it just doesn't feel like that long. I personally still have the same excitement as I did before. I love what I do. I love the people that I get to serve and to help. And I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever woken up and been like, damn, I don't want to go to work because I hate my job. Obviously we all have days where we're just like, man, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like, dealing with that, but I just think that's normal human being. But yeah, 14 years, that's a lot. And both you and I had the opportunity to speak to the
National Association of Physical Therapy group, mentee group last night.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
and that was indeed a pleasure. Thank you, Remy, for inviting us. We had a great time. The hour went by pretty quickly, but it was a very interactive session. And they have a conference coming up soon, so go to their social media page, NABPT, National Association of Black Physical Therapists, and you can see all the upcoming information for the conference. I would encourage you guys to become members if you are a Black and Brown therapist, because we are better together.
absolutely, and kind of to the point that I made yesterday while we were having that talk. Having people that look like you, that goes a long way. I've always said the example Obviously, me being Hispanic, I'm a Spanish speaker. When I have a patient who their primary language is Spanish and I'm able to communicate with them, the sense of relief that they feel when somebody can understand them is huge. So that same effect goes on across the board, whether it's students looking for mentors, students and professors, clinicians, and working with coworkers or the patient population that they serve. That all plays a role, and that all kind of helps you just be a little bit more comfort across the board.
Yeah. All right. So I see, Jason, do you have audio? I guess not. I'm not quite sure
All right.
what's
Well,
going.
we're gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep rolling.
Yep,
See,
we're gonna roll.
hopefully he can get on with us. But let's see what's been going on here recently that we can kind of chat about, or anything that's on our mind. I mean, I know that episode we did with Danielle last weekend was a big hit. So thank you
Yeah.
to everybody that's watched. Thank you to the ton of people that are supporting us and subscribing. I think Mo, our last number was like 569 or something like that. How many subscribers we had on YouTube? I don't know if you want to give us an updated
Verify. We verify. Yeah, I took my daily nap prior, so but let me see. $567.
Okay, there we go. So thank you.
We're doing pretty good. So thank you guys for tuning in. We apologize again for the technical difficulties we're having tonight, but we're gonna roll with the punch. Whenever Jason comes back on, we promise you that it's gonna be a jam-packed, informative session because he has a lot to share that I think will benefit not only students but also other healthcare clinicians and business owners as well too. Um, Definitely one of the, well, I met him while I was in PT school. The skilled nursing facility where he was at, I did a clinical rotation there. So he was a mentor, clinical instructor mentor of mine. And he was very patient with me. Um, and I worked with them briefly after graduating from physical therapy school, prior to going to the outpatient setting. While I was trying to take my MPT, I worked with them in DC. But then I moved to Maryland to work after I
Jason,
got
you
my.
with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're good right now. So whatever you're doing, don't move. Just
I'm
sit still.
trying to stay real still.
So, Jason, when did you first discover that you were in love with physical therapy? Because you're pretty passionate about it.
Yeah, I would say about 17 years old, being an athlete, growing up in Philly, playing sports. I got a chance to work with mentors, Dr. Leonard Johnson, Dr. King in Philadelphia. They poured into me. And so these kind of individuals who poured into me, I just wanted to do the same and pour into others. So I got a chance to experience physical therapy firsthand. And once I got into PT school, it was a little bit more than what I experienced. So I got a chance to see a lot more of what PTs do. So that's when I really fell in love, when I got a chance to learn about neurology, working with stroke patients, traumatic brain injuries. I thought it was all centered around sports, but it was so much more.
Okay, and where did you go to physical therapy school?
Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm a proud Rattler. I'm a proud Rattler, and I'm also a graduate of Alabama State University, where I got my doctorate degree.
Okay, so when you graduated from FAMU, did you have your bachelor's, master's? What?
Yeah, I had my bachelor's, and I felt defunct. I went through a period where everybody else was advancing in masters and then went on to doctorate, and I felt like PT was passing me by. And so I decided to partner. I got into a business, and I just wanted to do business versus necessarily treating for a while. But PT is one of those professions where you might drift out your interest and come back. And that's what happened to me. For 27 years to sustain in the profession, it takes longevity. And I had longevity because I put new projects in front of me.
Okay. So you not only have your DPT, as you said, you felt like PT was passing you by, but a lot of therapists complain that it's not worth spending that money to go get the DPT because their salary is not going to change. It's going to stay stagnant. So what motivated you besides knowing that you wanted to get into business or feeling like PT was passing you by? What motivated you as an individual to go back to school? How many years later to get that doctor of physical therapy degree?
Yeah. It was 15 years later that I would cross the stage again. I have mentors in the profession. I don't know how many other PTs out there have mentors, but Linda Woodruff, Dr. Linda Woodruff at Alabama State, she was highly influential in my career, highly influential as me as a PT. She told me, she said, Jason, don't let the profession pass you by. Even though you're in business, think. Anything that requires you to be good, and you could be excellent at it, go after being excellent. So I can't speak for any other PT who don't do it. But for me, I just wanted to remain important in the profession. I wanted to grow in the profession. And when I got my doctorate, it opened the doors to so much more. And I take full advantage of being a doctor of physical therapy. And that's important. It's important for the community to see me. It's important that my family see me. And even in our profession, that we see one another.
All right.
Now,
So, go ahead, Alex.
one of your the movies, the martial artist, a lot of it seems like your time was dealing with the geriatric population. So what made you make that pivot to dealing with that population, an underserved population? Because you not only did you deal with kids and individuals that are autistic, but you were dealing with mainly kids in Black communities. So it almost feels like it was a very, very targeted move that had a big impact, right? Because you're taking these two sets of populations and providing a service for them.
Yeah. I'm a physical therapist all day, right? So I take it everywhere I go. Sometimes it might be at a track meet. Somebody calls and there's a need for a PT. Guess who's showing up? Me. If I'm in the nursing home, if somebody needs a PT, me. And so what happened was I'm a martial artist. I got a black belt in Taekwondo. I also studied combat Kung Tao, where I teach martial arts, and I study. And I in here.
Another glitch. We were doing great.
we were doing so good. Just don't ask anything about the movies. I think that's what jinxed it.
Are you okay now? Doesn't seem muted.
No, it's not muted, but it's probably the connection or whatever difficulties he's having.
It's interesting that he said he felt like physical therapy was passing him by, and that's why he went back 15 years later. Like you and I have been physical therapists for 14 years. Do you see anything that's going to make you go back to school for anything?
I've had moments where, like, because I'm the type of person that's always looking for my next move, so to speak. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be in physical therapy. I mean, a year and a half ago, I branched out, got my real estate license, um, and was doing real estate. And I'm still licensed to do it. I've taken a step back from it just because my PT business and everything is very demanding, as well as my responsibility to my wife and my kids. But I'm always looking for moves. So there's been times where I'm like, long shot, not that I would ever really do it, but I'm like, man, I should go back to school and study this, or like even something like IT related, because one of the fascinating things to me that came from the whole COVID lockdown is like, you go on Twitter, you see some of these people that their job is in the IT field, and they can work from home, and they can do multiple things at once, and it gives them the opportunity to generate a good amount of income. So, I've thought about it. Would I actually go back to school for anything? Probably not. But I don't know. It's just different because I want to say, like, if I had been doing this from a bachelor standpoint, and then the profession moves to a master's and then a doctorate, I mean, it's almost like you're two levels behind now, so to speak, right? So we've got DPTs. If it moved on to like a super DPT and then a ultra powered DPT, like what would my mind frame be at that point? Who knows, right? Like, I think it just depends. But I think kind of to the point that he made is like he wanted to maximize his capabilities, his profession. Like it was a personal thing, and I think ultimately that's the most important thing. Like, you know, we talk about this, and you see it on social media, Twitter. Like letters don't mean anything but to the individual that has them, right? Like, you know, patients don't care, employers typically don't care, but if they make you feel rewarding self, like if it does what it needs to do for you, then yeah, absolutely, then go ahead, more power to you, right? Like,
Yep.
an example, my brother-in-law is a nurse practitioner. He's in school now to get, I want to say, is his PhD or some sort of equivalent that will allow him, if he so decides, to teach in nursing programs.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a very motivated person, and that's always been what he wanted. He wanted to work his way to the absolute top, not because of the money, not because of really anything, but other than to say, I did this, I wanted this, I got it. And there's just people that are like that, and more power to them. But
Yeah.
yeah.
The only thing I thought about was going back to get my MBA because you're in business. But I didn't make that plunge. However, I was fortunate to be part of the Goldman Sachs small business cohort where they did like a crash course for a few months from September to December, and gave us a wealth of knowledge on how to run a business effectively. So that helped tremendously for me. So, Jason, you're back on. So,
Yes.
important question. We're not going to talk about films anymore because we realize that's when we get interrupted with the speaking.
Some reason why,
But
right?
there's been a lot of chatter lately that PT schools don't teach much about business, and a lot of business owners or course providers are pushing that narrative. You went to get your MBA. Why did you do that? And do you buy into that idea that PT school should be teaching us more about business?
I think there's an additive component that will enhance a PT program. I did it because I was already in business for about almost over 10 years before I even got into business school. I wanted it to invest so that I could sustain. Sustainability is really important in business. And so it's not haphazard. It's something that you have to learn and build. And so I invested. It was an investment. I encourage people to consider taking business courses, classes, Because in my program, there were doctors in my program that were there for the same thing. There were physicians who were going back to school because they knew how to do a thing, but they didn't know how to be in business. And so it's something that I would just say I would encourage. I wouldn't make it mandatory. I have spoke on business at Florida A&M University's program. I know that they focus in on helping people move into private practice or into business, and it's critical to stay relevant.
It
Now,
is. I think a lot of us have skills as physical therapists, and we figure since we're the talent, we want to start a business, but we don't truly understand how to keep a business running. And a lot of times you might hit a wall. I mean, I know I've run into that wall. So getting that knowledge and being part of a chamber or a group to help you through that does help.
Yeah.
Alex, sorry.
what has been the most challenging thing for you, or the biggest lesson learned thus far in your journey from, starting off bachelor's, working your way to getting your DPT, running a business, being successful? What's been the most challenging thing for you?
The biggest challenge was I don't like to fail, but failure is a part of it. Making mistakes is a big part of it. Being a PT for 27 years, you're going to have challenges. And so to your listening audience, I would just share with them, don't get too hard on yourself when you fall, because you will. Stay in something for 27 years. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have failures. I made mistakes, and I wrote about it in my book, A Complete 180, what it was like to be a worker bee. I made mistakes there. Then the first time I became a supervisor, I made mistakes there. And every height you go, you begin to learn, but you have to go through it. So the one thing I had to get to a point is not worrying about failure. I'm not afraid to fail, but you move forward in life knowing that you're a success. We're already successful, all of us, but you want to get your significance. And so I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave an imprint in the profession that that I believe is really important for me. So just like you guys are doing in your podcast and doing in your profession and your businesses, you guys are leaving a legacy. And so we all face fears, and that's what I do. I have to face my fears, overcome them, and not be afraid to take them on. New challenges come at every new height you go into, and you live by faith and not by fear.
Absolutely. And what would you say is the biggest mistake that you've made? Like, what was the lesson that you're like, man, because of this, I'm now in this direction, or I've made it to where I'm wanting to go? Like, what would be that thing?
Phew, man, there are many. When you think about mistakes as a professional, as a business owner, as a leader, oftentimes is you have regrets. You have moments where you think of how you handled something, right, and you learn from it. As a director or supervisor, sometimes leading your team, I've made mistakes, and we deal with people, and so learning to manage and learning how to lead people was one thing. I manage papers, but you got to learn to influence and lead people. And so mistakes that I made was trying to manage people. And sometimes they were close to me, sometimes they're friends of yours, and it's like, man, what happened to these relationships? But when you move up in any area of your life, you have to fly as an eagle, and when you do so, you'll be solo sometimes. And I don't mind flying solo. I don't mind. I used to be a socialite and feel like I had to be into everyone, right? And so as you become an owner, it becomes different. When you become a manager, it becomes different. And it gets to a point your yay have to be yay and your nay is your nay, and you live by it. And it's ethical. and they're principles that we should apply to our profession and into our lives. So I thank you for asking that. And those mistakes, they stand out more than your successes. So I don't want to be on your show talking about all the good. There are things that I can tell you where I made mistakes that kind of haunt you at times. They're reminders. Be careful, Jason. Remember the last time you did this and it didn't work out. They're constant reminders as a business owner, as a manager, and that's why I like PT, and that's why I can still do it.
I'm glad you said you don't want to be on our show just talking about the positives, because I think lately society gets so caught up in the highlight reels of people's social media lives, only seeing the good. And I can speak from my perspective. There's certain things you don't want to share when you're having your struggles, but your struggle could be a lesson for someone else. How you overcome them can be inspiring to someone else. So do you feel like, you said you were like a social butterfly? Do you feel like when you were on top, your business was thriving, you were the boss and the man around town, that people gravitated to you for the opportunities that came with being associated with you, or for you as a person? Because sometimes that could be a challenge for owners, celebrities, or people in a certain financial bracket. They feel that people aren't being sincere when they want to come network with them or be around them.
Yeah, that's a great question. Me personally, I learned to fly in my uniqueness as a PT, which includes having a church family, having your own family, things that are important to you, those who are there with you, whether you're winning or you're losing, whether you're abounding or based. You have those who are in your corner that helps you, that tell you you could do it. You know what I'm saying? And even in the face of trials, which we all have, and so trials that I face, I only triumph only because I choose to be persistent and not to give up in the face of what may perceive as failure. You have to get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So in the profession, what does that look like when you have a thriving business and it begins to wane? What do you do but shift? I moved from being in long-term care to going into home health care. And somebody might say, well, why'd you do that? Because you have to stay relevant in business. You understand? So whatever industry, they don't last forever. Either you sell or you move quickly. And so I've moved from doing one area of service. Now I'm in home health care, and I also have outpatient services with my partners. I appreciate Dr. Wyatt, Dr. Eziani, because we've been together for 20 years. See, and somebody else might think of your failure. And it's crazy that people would seem happy to see you fall, but you have to keep moving forward. And so I align myself with individuals who encourage me, who edify me, and uplift me, even through the faces of challenges.
Now,
Go ahead, Alex.
with you being in business, and you said you got to be sustainable, so you pivoted. You went from long-term care to home care with some of the other services. There's been talks of challenges finding workers, finding reliable clinicians. Has that been anything that you've had to experience here recently? And if so, what have you tried to do to kind of overcome that?
Yeah, I went from a business that we had over 100 employees, right? And so the line of work of doing nursing homes is very competitive. So I'm gonna bring you kind of full circle. So you asked about the MBA. I had to go get my MBA so that I could study the competitive companies. I had to learn how to function as the competing companies who wanted to come in and move a small company like ours. You understand? They come in to bully you out of your stance or your ability to sustain. So you have to be creative, right? So I studied big business, and to stay relevant, once I realized that my line of business, most companies would only last for 2 years in a contract. They'll sell. So in that line of business, you have to see that companies will be bought by big equity firms that have big money, and a small company could not compete, right? So then you move to another set. As when I got my doctorate in physical therapy, to those who choose not to get their doctorate, but to those who do, I want to encourage them. My doctorate takes me a long way because I get a chance to talk in places that I would not any other place, because people respect me with my doctorate. So I encourage those who have their doctorate, find your place. So the place where I find where I can go anywhere is talk about health inequity. I always have a place to talk about health inequity. So go ahead.
No, that's great, because especially during the COVID pandemic, that became a huge topic of discussion. So it's good that you have evidence and you have the opportunity on the platform to speak on things that need improvement. So kudos to you.
And one of the things that I had to do, right, my company, we ended up getting a certificate of need. A certificate of need, I had to prove through research. Had I not got that doctorate, there's no way I would have got in front of those individuals to prove the things that I did, that there was a need for another home health company in the District of Columbia, because the needs weren't being met. And so when you align your doctorate, professional physical therapy, to be able to speak all the research data that we learned, and we did it for classwork, but would you do it in life work? So I take what I learned in my DPT program, I put it on the stage of life, and I'm in front of government, I'm in front of politicians, I'm in front of people, and I advocate for physical therapy in places where more therapists could and should be. And that's how I got into working with children in autism, because I could talk about heart disease and what physical therapists do with heart disease, and I can create a documentary. I could talk about diabetes, and I could create a documentary. I could teach the masses through what I know through multimedia. And that's all I do now. You know, and being a clinician, but now adding on to my line service is multimedia. People do TikToks better than me. You know what I'm saying? There are people out here who edit better than me. Your podcast show is better than mine, you know? And so you guys have everything that you can be to be successful. You're doing the very same thing. Your podcast, kudos to you guys. Keep pushing PT. And let me tell you, this before I get off of y'all, I got to say one thing. Whether it's my film, whether it's documentaries, whether it's me speaking, anything, I always put physical therapy out there for our profession. And people need to see me, an African-American male physical therapist who makes up less than 1% of the total PTs in the country. So representation is everything in everything I teach and everything that I do. So I'm sold and committed to my work. And I just thank you guys for allowing me to be on your platform, because whether it's my film, my book, my work that someone else may say is Renaissance, it's just the work of a PT who need the community to see both of you. You are a reflection of excellence for your people, right? So I give thumbs up to the Alex and Mo podcast because you're doing something in the profession that makes people look at you, right? And in a positive light, do you bring media attention to our profession? It's just that I made a film about our profession. I made documentaries about our profession. I wrote books about our profession. And it's not to be bragged. I don't brag this. When you become a doctor in our profession, it is required of thee to research. It is required of thee to write. It is required of you to tell the community what you know. That's all
Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just keeping it 100. It's keeping it 100 because that's exactly what what Mo and I are trying to do. And we appreciate your kind words and the support, because that's exactly what kind of brought Mo and I together in this, and it was an opportunity to represent those that aren't really represented in our profession, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned yourself, as a Black African American male physical therapist, less than 1%.
Yeah.
Mo, myself, Hispanic, Black, Brown, like we're a small group. We're a small group, but we're a very powerful group.
That's right.
And when people get to experience us, they get to learn from us, and we get to learn from other people. But if we don't have that opportunity to get in front of people, that opportunity to exchange ideas and to learn from one another is lost. And I think that's where most of the growth comes. You mentioned that you're putting the multimedia aspect into your business now. What is it that you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? What's your goal? Where are you trying to go with this? Because I think it's a big opportunity. And just from the time that we've had to talk today, I mean, like, you could tell that the passion that comes out of you for our profession and for what you do and the opportunities that you have to impact all the people that you've impacted. But what's your next step? Like, what's the next thing you want to do?
Right now I'm into film, so I produced a film called Home Health Chronicles, and I want to get it into streaming. So whether it's in Tubi, whether it gets to Netflix, my film and my work for physical therapy, I put it in front of anyone, right? I believe in my work because I'm a physical therapist. And so in the next 5 years, I want to do maybe 2 movies a year. And I'm a screenwriter. I wrote my 2 screenplays, and I'll be shooting another film this summer. Exciting about it is that I want to be able to show people a legacy of work that's done that breaks stereotypes of people that look like me. My film shows an African American male physical therapist who works hard on a Friday. He goes to work. And how many times do we get those kind of positive images? And we continue to get a lot of negative images, right, in multimedia. So my films go into other countries, the UK, India, Australia, Tokyo, and they are readily accepting my work. Across the pond, where here in America, we still tripping on color of skin. You could go into any PT school in America and count how many African Americans are in programs. And the numbers, the dial have not changed. If I don't influence people in the next 5 years of doing what I do as a PT, and I've been in it for 27, so the numbers have not changed since I got into the profession. Come on now. So if I could do something in the next 5, you're surely going to hear and see the reflection of me, the reflection of us in my work. My goal is to find others like-minded, and I want to help them produce their film and write their books and put their stories about physical therapy. How many movies can you name where you've seen a physical therapist? How many books have you read that the physical therapist is the protagonist? How many times have you seen a reflection of a PT that looked like black or brown, right? So I don't want to make it necessarily just about race, but in the next 5 years, I really want to make an imprint on Black film and the way we are perceived in the medias. I did the soundtrack to my film. So I record music. And to being able to record music with the likes of the persons that I work with has been amazing, right? And so I want to produce. I get a chance to work with many talented people in the DMV, but I would love to work with some physical therapists out there who have their own stories, who want to write, who want to be able to step out there but don't know how. And I want to show them how. I want to show them how they can make their own film. I want to show them how they can do their own thing. So in 5 years, I will hope that I could do a total of 7 to 10 films.
That's awesome, man. That's some good stuff. I watched the Home Health Chronicles today.
What do you think about it?
I thought it was pretty cool, man. I thought it was pretty cool. It had a pretty good storyline. It made it seem very real. I grew up more around an African American population, so I've always felt like I just kind of related more. So
Gotcha.
to watch the film, it just flowed with me, and in some of the conversations we had earlier, like as a home health therapist, like, it really hits home.
Yes.
The main character's name is Seven. So the struggles that he's going through, he gets up early, man. Like he was out the door seeing patients at 7 a.m. Like I'm trying to get a workout in at that time. And then he's on a Friday. His girlfriend's calling him all the time. Like just a lot of stuff that I can relate to in my day to day.
Yes.
So it was very cool. Like you've got the administrator trying to add patients on a Friday, and you're like, "What the heck, man?" Like I'm just trying to go home,
Yes.
So it was definitely a very cool film, and it made me laugh. Like it has some. It was just a good storyline. It had a little bit of everything, and I think it definitely hit home with the life of a home health physical therapist.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know what that's like, because it's not in the limelight of physical therapy. Mo and I have talked a lot about before, and even you mentioned before. I would say that 99% of us go into PT school thinking we're going to be working with the next Tiger Woods, the next LeBron, anything of those sorts, because that's what we see. That's what everybody sees and thinks of physical therapy. But home health is its own thing, and it was definitely pretty cool to kind of get a taste of that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
How can people get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me Facebook. You can, personally, Jason Henderson. You can always find me at the Home Health Chronicles, the movie. There you'll find my work. And I am a martial artist. That's AUTIST. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under all of those names. I am a martial artist and Home Health Chronicles. If there are any therapists who want to act out there, you want to act, follow the Home Health Chronicles, because I got a casting call coming out from a work that I'm doing this summer. And if you want to be in any documentaries that I'm doing, you could always send me an instant message on Facebook. Would love to work with you.
Someone just mentioned on the Facebook comment, I would love to do a comedy home health PT show like Nurse Betty. So he's a physical therapist, so you guys can connect with one another. And yeah, I love to watch that show too.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Hey.
So I honestly, I do appreciate you coming on, even with the technical difficulties that we had. I believe that we don't lose; we always learn. And everything that you've been through has put you in the path in the right direction to be a true mentor. So, as Stephen R. Covey said, your most important work is always ahead of you. And I do believe that. So, in the next 5 years, I have no doubt that you will achieve the things that you want to achieve. And we are here to assist in any way because our platform is to promote physical therapists, not only physical therapists, but healthcare professionals and students. We believe we have a greater reach this way than doing it individually, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So we welcome anyone who wants to come on our show over the next few months to share their journey and, like Jason, talk about any works that you have in process or in the future. Okay, so he said he'll be in touch with you. so once you guys create it, let me know. I could be the grumpy physical therapist.
So Jason, again, bro, thank you very much. We really do appreciate your time. Thank you for sticking with us as we fought through these technical difficulties, but it turned out to be awesome, man. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of good stuff. I do think that as well. I believe you will hit your goal in the next 5 years, man. Like the amount of passion that you got. I hope that 13 years from now. Oh, we just lost him, but I hope that. I hope that 13 years from now, I'll have that same amount of passion that he does, man, because that's contagious. That's contagious. You do things with that kind of passion, you're gonna get people around you that want to follow you. And you definitely got that vibe to where you're a leader. You're showing the way. You're taking your lessons and sharing them, right? Because as you said, we don't fail, we learn. We don't. We just get up and we keep going. But if you take what you learn and share it with other people, I think that's the true impact. That other people don't come back and make the same mistakes you did. And I can tell that that's what you're doing, man. So salute to you. Best of luck. As Mo said, if there's anything that we can do to help you, please reach out. You know how to get a hold of us. But we definitely appreciate your time and everybody watching, supporting us. Thank you as always for being with us. We're very excited to be doing this and to be able to share some good stuff with you guys.
All right, so tune in next week. We have Dr. Josh Funk of Rehab to Perform. So go to our website, www.thealexandmopodcast.com to see the upcoming guest list. Follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at @thealexandmo, and search for our YouTube channel, The AlexAndMo I'm a PT podcast. And do not forget to subscribe. Alex was correct. It's 569. So I do apologize for ignoring those 2 additional people. So thank you again, guys. Thank you for
everybody. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Mo, take care.
You too.